Hi everyone. Wow, it's been a long time. Sorry about that. This isn't really going to be a crafting video, although I am going to ink while I talk. This is more of a vlog, I guess. Just kind of letting you guys know why I haven't been around. Some of you already know that we are in the middle of doing renos. And yeah, it's just been a little bit crazy. And the funny thing is it doesn't really feel like we've done a whole lot. We have all kinds of plans, and but you know, if any of you have ever been involved in renovations, you know that some things have to wait, and while you schedule other things. And so I'm just going to let you know some of the things that we've done so far. The very first thing we did was we bought a brand new door, and our door is a single door, but it does have side lights, which means it has the glass on either side of the door. And we changed it from, it was a white metal door, and the side lights were it's called a waterfall glass, so it's kind of a ripply glass we had put in 10 years ago because the glass that was there was completely see-through, and my husband was like, oh, I don't want that, you know, people walk up to your door and they can see everything inside, which, you know, I get. Plus, we didn't know how old that was, and the house that we live in was about 20 years old when we bought it. It's about 30 years old now, and you know, everything is, well, the windows especially are original, and the people we bought it from, we found out later, basically bought it and flipped the house. So they did some updating. The kitchen's really nice. Like, I love the cabinets, and it's got this honkin' big island, which is great. It's actually, I'm about 5'1". Yeah, it's longer than I am tall. And it's so wide I can't reach across it. Although, you know, my son says that's because I have T-Rex arms, so could be why. You never know. But it is very deep, and it has 6 big drawers, which I absolutely love. So that was kind of a selling point for me when I saw that. You know, I said to Ken, yeah, this is the house. It had a nice deck, but we found out later, about 5 years later, that they used terrible wood. They didn't seal anything. They used nails instead of screws, so all the nails started popping up. And you know, when you took a closer look, you could see in spots where the nail didn't even go into the wood. So it very poorly done. But you know, when you see a house and you fall in love with it, you kind of overlook a few things. Well, at least me anyway. I didn't see a lot of the flaws, but would I trade my house? No, I wouldn't. I love my house. I love the shape of it. It's not modern. I'm not a modern girl, and I like the shape of it. I don't know, it's just cute. Anyway, when my husband retired, we decided that we needed to do some renovations to the house, and you know, we had to figure out if we could afford the payments on, you know, taking a renovation loan and that kind of deal. And we decided, yep, we could. Let's do it. If we don't do it now, we're going to be too old to enjoy it. So we started, like I say, with the front door. And the door is, oh, it's beautiful. And it's a craftsman style door. How do I describe that? The window, it has a window in the main door. The side lights are now just glass just at the top of the side light, and that it's all wood then, most of it. And there's glass at the top of each side light with no mailbox slot anymore, because that was part of the problem, is you get a lot of cold air coming through those. We still get door-to-door mail service. But my husband's going to build a mailbox post. When we bought the mailbox, I was shocked when we got it because it was honking big. but it's nice. And so we're going to cement that in close to the front door and in the garden, which should be pretty. And then the door itself, we opted for a deep burgundy, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then our house is the style where your garage is attached at the front of the house. And it's just a single car garage, but the door is white. So we decided, no, we're going to change that to a dark brown, because all of our wood trim as well as our gutters are dark brown. So we kept with that, and this door will have little windows at the top. The one we have now doesn't. So that'll give a little bit of light into the garage. Now the garage, that's another project, but we spent 3 or 4 days cleaning out the garage. I mean, it had 10 years of stuff. You know, everything ends up in the garage, right? And you know you got to get rid of it, but it's hidden. And so you kind of leave it piling up. And we had bins and bins, like Rubbermaid bins, full of stuff. We didn't even know what was in them anymore. So we opened everything up. My husband found three of the bins were his, which was kind of funny. One of them had my son's baby stuff in it, which was kind of neat. I'd forgotten that we still had it. My mother had painted these cute little clown plaques, and when he was a baby, I went with primary colors for the theme of the bedroom. I made everything for his bedroom. You know, all the bedding for the crib and wall hangings and all that kind of stuff. So Mom had painted up these little clown plaques, and she had cut around the actual image, and then like she burnt the wood, and then she added the painted clowns on them. And they're so cute, you know, if you're not terrified of clowns, that is. Really, really cute. And so I kept them because I thought, you know, maybe one day he'll have a son and he might like to put those. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but, you know, I'm hopeful. So they're there for him. I mean, we're storing them basically for him. And so then my husband opened up these bins. Well, one of them was full of overalls. When my husband started out, when we first got married, he started out as a ditch digger, basically. He worked for the city of Vancouver, and he basically was digging ditches. And so we had these overalls. Now, my husband at the time was about 6'5", and a big boy, like a really big boy. And we found these overalls. Well, he hated sleeves, absolutely hated sleeves. So I had to remove all the sleeves in these overalls, stitch them up nice again, so that he could just wear a t-shirt for the mobility, right? I mean, those overalls that are with the long sleeves are very restrictive. So anyway, we found a bin full of those. And I mean, my husband hasn't been a ditch digger in, 20 some odd years. And anyway, it was kind of brought back a lot of good memories. Well, they were huge. So we looked at these and I'm like, yeah, he's down 100 pounds from then. So we found all those. I said, those are going. You're not keeping them. Oh, but they'd be good. I said, no, they're going. They're gone. So he found one pair that were pretty new, and they were the bib kind, right? And I guess he bought them when he had his first big weight loss, so they fit. So I'm like, okay, you can keep those. We emptied that bin, and most of them ended up in the garbage. Some of them were good, so we donated them to the mission. And then another one we opened up when my husband was fairly new in management. He now had to switch from wearing t-shirts to work, to wearing, he could wear like a nice golf shirt, or not a dress shirt, but a collared shirt, Well, I had gone and I bought all of this fabric to make him shirts because, like I say, he's tall. And here in Canada, to get any kind of tall shirts for a man, you're paying a lot of money for a shirt. So I decided I was going to make him his shirts. So I made a dozen shirts for him, but I did this thing and I bought all kinds of wild, like Hawaii prints and just fun fabrics. Some had ducks all over them, and so yeah, he kind of got a reputation of these crazy shirts, right? Well, this bin was full of them. Well, they were like a triple X, and they were huge. So we had to part with all of those too. That took care of another bin. Then, what was the other bin? Oh, then I discovered a bin that was actually my mother's, and since she's in a home, obviously she's not going to get it back, but it was junk. Like, when she moved, it was because her husband had passed away, and this was years ago. When we first moved to South Surrey, actually, I think it was probably in 2000 or 2001, and her husband had passed away, and she just brought everything, right? She didn't get rid of a whole lot of anything, and I think this might have even been from her second husband, not her third husband. So, yeah, that got tossed pretty much. We kept one thing, which was kind of cool. It's a bell, and it has like a train on the bell, and it's the cast iron type bell. Her third husband worked for the railroad, so he had that on the front door as their doorbell kind of deal. They lived in rural area. So we kept it because I said to my husband, you could put that on your shed when you get your shed built, right? So we kept that one, but everything else got tossed. So that's another bin gone. I tell you, we got rid of so much junk in that shed. Things that, come on, rollerblades? When are we going to rollerblade? We're almost 60 years old. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So we've got a lot of stuff, right? And anyway, that took days to get that done, and then vacuuming all the cobwebs out of there, and sucking up all the spiders and that kind of deal. And we had to do that because we got brand new windows, and we needed a place to paint all the trim that the installers were going to put back. So that saved us, having to climb up the ladder to paint when they were done installing. So they'd install all the trim and everything, but you had to paint it, which is great. They dropped it off a little over a week before the actual installation was going to be happening. And we painted it all up. So we cleaned out the garage, because I said, we got all this dust and crap in the garage. It's just going to stick to all the trim. So that made me feel better, because you know how I am with, being a little bit OCD. And so the garage is nice and tidied up, but that is another project. We have to gut the garage and re-insulate it, and then re-gyprock it, or sheetrock, whatever you guys call it. I call it gyprock just because that was the company name. It's actually sheetrock, but and then on this coming Tuesday, we get our garage door will be installed. So that will be nice. The front's looking much better. We are not changing the siding at the front or on one side. We're just going to buy the same color. It'll look different, but you won't notice it because it'll be the back and the opposite side. We'll have to get re-sided, but to save money, we just couldn't do the whole house. But what we are going to do is we're going to rock the bottom of the house. So you get that nice, we wanted to get some of that rock that would have some burgundies and browns in it. So that'll tie in the door. And the color of our house is called wheat. So it has almost a yellow, pale yellow look to it. which I love. It's very pretty. Softer than this yellow even. And it's nice and it's different than anybody else's house on the block or anywhere around me. And then we have a downstairs bathroom that needs to be gutted. And we're putting in a walk-in shower. Right now there's a shower tub, but we don't need that. There's a tub upstairs. We don't live downstairs. It's a guest room down there. So we're doing a walk-in shower because we figure at some point my husband will have to use that because of his knees. They won't replace his knees until he's about 65, and he's only 58 now, so yeah, it's difficult for him in between cortisone shots sometimes to climb the stairs. And so we thought maybe, you know, that might be an option. And the bathroom's small. All of my bathrooms in this house are quite tiny. So we're doing a 3/4 wall, so it won't have a door in the shower. And it's going to be tiled from all the way in, like all the way into the bath and up the wall. It'll have a different tile on the base of the shower, and then quite a wide stripe will go up where you're going to put the shower head. And we're raising the ceiling because it's quite low. And what else are we doing to it? There's a new vanity going in. Pretty much everything it's gutted. Yeah, pretty much everything is being replaced. And then, of course, we're painting all downstairs, up the hallway, and the living room need to be painted. Then in the back, we're getting a new deck, late spring, early summer. Probably after Hawaii. My husband's coming home the 3rd week of May. I'll still be there for another 12 days or so. My girlfriend is coming to meet me. But he'll come home and they'll get started on the deck. His stepbrother's going to build it. But Ken wanted to be here, which I get. And I don't, because I don't do well with noise, that kind of noise, constant, you know. It makes me nervous. So that will get done. And also, before that goes in, our downstairs at the back of the house, there's the guest bedroom is in one corner. Beside it, on the other side of the wall, there's a window, then a long wall, and at the end of that wall is a sliding glass door. We're removing the sliding glass door. We're putting in a window that matches the one that's there, same side, where the sliding glass door was, and in between those two windows will go an actual basement door. No more slider. I'm surrounded by cedar trees. My backyard is very foresty. Like, we've let it go. So, on purpose. I have a lot of grass, but all the border of the backyard is all big cedar trees and some, there's a crabapple tree, there's a pine tree, and, so there are lots of things that drop, pines and needles and all that stuff. Keeps getting stuck in the track, so you can't open that sliding glass door in the basement, and it's really annoying. So, and because my deck had rotted and my stairs have rotted, I can't go out the back and go down the stairs. My husband did put a couple new treads on for the window installers, just so they wouldn't fall through the stairs, but I still don't like going down those stairs. So, I don't go in the backyard. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, once that's in, then we're going to have a double deck. So it won't be much bigger than it is now on the top, maybe a foot longer, because I have a huge cedar tree right there, and I don't want to get rid of that tree. I love the tree. And it's home to lots of squirrels, so I want to leave it. And then you'll go down about 3 stairs, and then there'll be a longer deck, like it'll go further into the yard. And that will have an eating area. We've never been able to eat on our deck. It's more just for the barbecue and for a couple of chairs, because it's not very big. So that will take care of the eating part. Because honestly, you guys, we are outdoor You know, we love sitting outside and enjoying the sunshine here. But it'll be nice on that side because the sun stays on that side longer. So I'll actually have the loungers out there so I can lay in the sun. And yeah, I think that's all. Well, then of course we're getting new in the summer. We're getting all our driveway replaced. It's in terrible condition because of my trees in the front. They've lifted all my driveway. And when they poured the driveway here, they didn't do it in one, they did it in big pieces, right? So one whole thing is lifted, I'd say a good almost 3 inches it's lifted from the roots of the tree. Now the concrete hasn't broken yet, but we don't really love it. And so we called the city because it's actually their tree, it's on city property. And they will come and shave down the root, and then they put what they call a root stopper or root blocker or something like that. And then we can pour new concrete, and we're going to have it all stamped. Now that my husband doesn't work for the city, he can utilize the people at the city who have side jobs, like they have side businesses. But it was a conflict of interest to hire them when my husband still worked for them. So anyway, we're excited about that. And widening our sidewalk because the original sidewalks for older homes were quite narrow, you know. Well, when they built the side fence, which is about 10 years old now, they made a big wide gate. Well, the sidewalk is like this big, the gate's this big, and it looks stupid. So that'll be another project, which will happen this summer. I'm guessing everything will be complete by the end of summer. But as you can tell, I've been rather busy. Even though these projects haven't started, my husband and I have had to go all over the place, you know, buying parts for things, like especially the downstairs bathroom, because he and my brother are going to be building that. And so we needed to get, you know, the shower head, the drain. We bought, what do they call them? They're like handles, you know, but you know how when you get older and you need a grab bar, that's what it's called, grab bar. But we're going to install ours so it looks like a towel rack, so it doesn't look like it's, you know, from a senior citizen home, because I'm not quite there yet. But it'll still be firm so you can hang on to it, right? And so we're installing one upstairs and one downstairs. And then we bought the vanity, and we bought the taps for the vanity. We bought the mirror, the lights that go over the mirror. We bought the tile. So the only, we haven't bought the toilet because that's the last thing. You put that in last anyway, so, you know, why buy it and take up room? So we still have to purchase that, and we still have to purchase we're doing a heated floor downstairs in that bathroom. It's a small bathroom, so it's not going to cost very much at all, but it'll sure be nice on the feet, you know. And then the Schluter kit, which is basically what you put in and then you attach all your tile to, and we're doing a tile floor, so we're not doing the pan, but it allows you to cut out. So I'm going to have like a 12-inch and maybe 8-inch long shelf that's recessed in the shower, so you can put your shampoo bottles and stuff in there. So the nice thing is, because it's taken a little while to sort of get stuff, it's allowed us to kind of change our mind on stuff, you know, things that you thought, oh yeah, I definitely want that. Well, then you look at it and you realize, no, it's not going to work, you know. And of course, yeah, it's been busy. I can't tell you how many times we've run to Home Depot. And then, of course, my husband, because I had given him that gift certificate, I created a monster, and he's been going and buying a lot of tools because he didn't have the time when he was working full-time, you know, to do creative things. But he is a creative guy, but he didn't have the tools to accomplish different projects. And now his honey-do list is mega long. So, you know, he's like, well, I need to get the tools. So I had given him between his mom and I, we bought him this large gift certificate so that he could go to Home Depot and get the tools he wants, because, you know, honestly, guys should do that. Women shouldn't, unless they know exactly what they want, because inevitably you have to take it back, right? So I let him go crazy. Well, then, of course, it was Boxing Week, and, you know, his favorite tool place, Summit Tools, was having a humongous sale. So we went tool shopping again. I think since then, he's probably been 5 times. And I said, you know what? You keep eating into the money we've got set aside to do all this building. We're going to run out of money if you don't stop buying tools. And so I think I finally convinced him to lay off buying any more tools. And anything he doesn't have, my brother has. My brother has an entire, probably, tool store. He has everything. But that's what he does, right? Had his own company where he renoed, and then he renoed his entire home himself, and he's a glazer, so he installs windows and doors and all that stuff. So he's going to give Ken a hand and teach him how to do a lot of stuff. And so I'm excited for Ken because, you know, he's going to start doing things that he's always wanted to do. And anyway, that's what I've been doing and why I have not been doing videos or even in my craft room, because of that. So again, I apologize for not being around. I appreciate people checking in on me. I've had a number of subscribers checking to make sure everything was good, and it is. I'm working on a small little ephemera kit for the store. I'd say I'm 3/4 finished. And it's a postcard ephemera pack. I have 4 different, I can show them to you actually. Whoops. Where did I put them? Let me think about where I put them. Because my room was all torn apart because I had my windows put in. Oh, here they are. So what I'm trying to do is a postcard kit that has something for every style of what, you know, you're making, right? So this one is old paintings, masterpieces, right? So there's 4 on each one. So there's a sheet of that. I did birds because I love birds. And then I did one in a sepia, which I thought was really pretty, and it looks old. And it's just floral. And then the last one so far is just a postcard because, you know, plain ones are nice. And so I'm working on 2 more will go in. Sorry. 2 more will go into the kit, but I'm kind of stumped on what to do. So maybe you guys could come up with 2 more things for me to use as a theme on the postcards. That would be amazing. That's the only reason I haven't finished them, is because I just can't think of what to do. And then I will pop those in the store. And I love using postcards in my journals. I just think they're cool. And you can add little photos to them and then journal on the back of them, which I like doing. And so that's kind of what I've been up to and why I have not been around. And I hope to get into more of a regular routine again of posting, but like I said, life is a little topsy-turvy at the moment. I think we're on a pause at the moment because, well, Tuesday our door does go in, but that doesn't really affect me at all. And then I'm not sure what Ken wants to do next, whether it's starting on the door or gutting the bathroom. I'm going to guess he wants to get the bathroom gutted. Well, no, the next thing is painting. That's what we're doing. Which, yeah, that'll take a while. That'll be over a week. neither one of us enjoy painting anymore. I used to love it, but now not so much. I find it's just hard going up and down the ladder now. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that I'm on the keto diet, and I know there's people out there going, no, it's bad for you. I've done a ton of research, you guys, a ton of research. And, you know, I know that there's bad keto out there. People are just, it's more like a low carb and tons of protein, which isn't keto. Keto basically is just putting your body in ketosis, and not ketoacidosis. That's different. That's what happens to diabetics, and that's scary. No, that's not what this is. Putting you in ketosis basically means that your body stops relying on the carbohydrates and starts to burn your stored fat as energy. So what it will do is, if you're giving it too many carbohydrates, it will only use the carbohydrates because it views those carbohydrates as a toxin in your body. So it attacks that first and converts that to energy. But whatever's left over, because you've flooded your body with carbohydrates, whatever's left over gets stored as fat. And that's been my problem. And doing a lot of research with doctors and stuff, discovered that my adrenal gland has not been working for years and years, like properly. And so what happens is my pancreas is producing too much insulin, and I can't process the insulin. And so then what happens? It gets stored as belly fat. Well, I have a huge belly. So, you know, and I wasn't like that when I was younger. I was very healthy and in shape and slim, and it wasn't until I actually took birth control pills. Ever since I took those, yeah, my whole body was screwed up and nothing worked right. I couldn't lose weight to save my life. I think the most I've ever lost was about 36 pounds. When I had probably 80 to lose. I couldn't get past 36, no matter what I did. And then that was a doctor's diet that I was on, and his was a very, very low carbohydrate, and yeah, I lost it really fast, but then I got to a point where my hair started falling out in clumps. So I had 2 bald spots, and I felt horrible. So, like I said to him, like, what's going on? And he said, well, unfortunately, 5% of the population experienced that. And I thought, of course, I'd have to be, because I'm special, right? So I went off that diet and immediately put all the weight back on, and more. And every time I lost weight, that's what happened. I would go up even more, to the point where, you know, I'm obese. And, you know, the first time I heard that word, it upset me greatly, but truth is truth, right? According to doctors anyways, you can be 25 pounds overweight and considered obese. Like, to me, that's like ridiculous, but that's what the doctors say. So I was severely obese then. And anyway, then I went on Atkins years ago, and the first time I was on it, I did pretty well. Lost 20 pounds, but that's it. Stopped losing. Couldn't lose anymore. Didn't matter what I did. Well, Atkins works for some. And like I'm saying, okay, I'm saying this for me, you guys. This is not about you. This is about me and what works for me. Every person is different, and every person needs to find what works for them. I've been on Weight Watchers probably 12 times. Never could lose weight on Weight Watchers, and I never cheated. Could not lose weight. So then one year I went on it, and that was when they had started with they had a low carb version of Weight Watchers. Now that I did lose some, however, I stopped losing after 20 pounds. Again, I get to 20 pounds and that's it. Nothing works. And I exercised and, you know, I did all the right things. And nobody could seem to figure out why I couldn't lose weight and whatever. So I've been kind of low carb for a couple of years now. Not faithful, obviously, but when I'm watching, I would do low carb. And I would lose a couple pounds. I'd lose the puffiness, basically. Because I'm allergic to wheat is one thing. I'm not gluten intolerant. I'm actually allergic to the grain. And so many things have wheat in them. And that contributes to my obesity. Also, a lot of the foods that you consume have hidden sugars in them. Well, sugar is not good for anybody. I don't care who you are. It's not good for anybody. But there's so much of our food that we get, you know, like even sauces and stuff, right? That you would add to enhance a meal, or even to cook with even. Even some spices have sugar in them. So for me, I just thought, you know, this is ridiculous. I feel horrible. And I get what's called, I forget the technical name, but basically it's nerve pain. So you could like gently rub my leg and it would hurt. And I'd get that on my thighs, my knee joints. I have arthritis in my hands. And so I had a lot of joint inflammation. And I'd been doing, like I say, tons of research with this keto, because I kept hearing keto this, keto that, right? And I thought, what is going on with all this keto stuff, right? So I did tons of research on it and decided that I'm going to try it. So I'd say in 3 days, the pain went away. I'd wake up in the morning, my stomach wasn't distended. I mean, it's big. I have a big stomach, but I always knew in the morning it was even worse. Like it was puffy, and it took a little while for it to go down. My hands have not hurt me since I started keto, and I could barely touch this finger. Like, it was awful. And it makes crafting difficult. Over time, the longer you do it, the more side effects are good. Like your sleep improves, your clarity improves. If you're doing it right, you have to do it right and not just say, oh, well, I can eat all the meat I want or all the fat I want. No, that's not how keto works. You know, and you can't eat just any fat. Some of them are really bad for you. So you need to be careful. And so that meant a lot of research and a lot of shopping. And then today I purged my kitchen. I went through my cupboards and, man, I started reading labels. I couldn't believe how much sugar was in stuff that I'd been using on a regular basis. And, yeah, so far, I've been on it 2 weeks today. I've lost 5.5 pounds. Now, for me, that is amazing, because I wouldn't even lose that in a month on a regular diet. I'd lose, on a regular basis, not even a pound a week. On traditional, you know, eat balanced diet. On traditional diets, that's all I would lose. Now, like I say, you know, my body was producing way too much insulin and just kept storing it. And so once I get my body more balanced, I should be able to switch it. Like it's like it's what he called it, a switch. So you go from your body wanting to burn carbs to your body wanting to burn fat if you do it long enough and eat reasonably. And the other thing I found about the keto diet is my appetite's half of what it used to be. And I feel like 1,000 times better. I'm not even exaggerating. My husband went on it just because he'd been losing weight. And I'd say he's probably dropped maybe 50 pounds on his own, because he'd kind of gone off his weight loss program for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. And so his weight started creeping up again, right? And he started the bad habits again and all this stuff. So he started, putting the weight on. Did I already do those? Yeah. So he had been going to the gym again and working out, and then just cutting back on his food intake, right? He'd lost, like I say, around 50 pounds. And he hit a wall. Like, he just wasn't losing anymore, and he was going to the gym faithfully and doing everything he's supposed to do, and nothing else was coming off. And he figured he had probably another maybe 50 to go to be at his proper weight. And again, I stress that weight on your scale isn't as important as inches. Because if you're working out, you're building up muscle. The nice thing about keto is you don't lose muscle mass when you're on it, which a lot of other diets you do. And so he said to me, well, you know, what can I eat? And I said, what do you mean? And he says, well, you know, I want to do it too. And I said, well, for one thing, you have to give up your cereal because it's loaded with sugar. 12 grams of sugar. That's like a ton of sugar. And I mean, it says it's a healthy, you know, he was doing granola. Well, granola is one of the biggest, terrible type of breakfast cereals to eat because of the sugar in them. Yeah, it's got all kinds of good, healthy grains and stuff. But, yeah, when you're looking at, some of them have 20 grams of sugar in them, like, that's crazy. Anyway, and again, I want to stress, this is for me, okay? I'm not telling anybody they're doing anything wrong. You know, whatever works for you, however you choose to eat, that is totally up to you. I am not here saying you should not do this, you should not do that. This is me. I'm directing this at me. So when I said that to him, he said, okay, fine. And you know, my husband, he's amazing because he can just do it. Me, oh man, takes me forever to, you know, follow through with, I decided I'm going to do this. Yeah, and then nothing happens, right? and weeks go by, but no, not Ken. He can just decide and he does it. So he stopped eating the cereal. Well, what can I eat? So then I started doing a bunch more research and I found all these wonderful recipes and for keto on YouTube. So if you're interested in, you know, even if you don't follow keto strictly, they have some great recipes, I'm telling you. So basically keto is whole foods. You want to eat whole foods. Nothing low fat, because when they low fat it, they add sugar. So you want like whole milk and cream and butter and all the good stuff that, you know, your grandparents used to eat and never seemed to have a problem with gaining weight, losing weight, you know. I know my grandparents didn't. You just eat whole foods. And some things are better than others for you. And, you know, things have changed, right? They add GMOs to everything. So, you know, I try and eat organic meats. Not grain-fed, but grass-fed and free-range. So, you know, the problem is, I think 15 years ago, I could never have done this because I couldn't afford to. The better you eat, the more expensive it is. And that's a fact. So now, you know, because we don't eat a lot anymore and we don't eat junk food, which, of course, that costs money, we put the money towards the good food. So, but I get, you know, being young families, they don't have that kind of money. I know I never did. And so there's no way I could eat that kind of stuff. But I can now because I'm not supporting our son and, you know, it's just Ken and I. And I like to live not just a long life, but a healthy life. I mean, it's one thing living a long time and, yeah, I mean, I just think of my mom, right? And, yeah, she might still be alive, but what kind of life does she have? And, yeah, I don't want to be that way. And I want to heal my body and my mind. Have less fog, you know, they call it brain fog, or you know, yeah, like, I do this all the time. He said one of the symptoms of an adrenal gland not working correctly is that you start saying something and then you stop and start saying something else. And you guys know me, I do that all the time. And yeah, I think I hit every single box when he was saying, well, this is a symptom, this is a symptom. I hit every one of them. So I knew. And I had told my doctors years ago, it's just something's wrong. Like, I knew something was wrong. So it throws your hormones all out of whack. And that's what I told them. You know, you have acne. I've had adult acne on my back since I was 18 years old. And, you know, sometimes it's better than others, but I tell you, when I hit the carbs, holy smokes, I just break out like crazy. And terrible sleep, joint pain, you know, and I'm not that old, so I shouldn't have the severity of pain that I was experiencing. The large stomach, the foggy brain, yeah, just all kinds of symptoms for your adrenal gland being stressed. And it gets stressed partly from stress, and yep, your mind doesn't shut off, and that's me. At night, I think of like a billion things at night. And I think the only thing that gets me to sleep is the pure exhaustion, you know, and then I fall asleep. But yeah, and when your insulin's high, your body isn't at rest. So my girlfriend, Vintage Ma, she's diabetic, so, you know, she says, oh yeah, if her insulin's high, she is antsy, she cannot sleep, she'll stay up for sometimes days when her insulin is out of balance, and you know, you have to adjust it all the time, right? So anyway, I got her back on keto because she does really, really well on it too, and she'll get healthier again. And that's the other thing. It's been known to reverse diabetes, especially if you have type 2 and not type 1. I think I said that correctly. If I didn't, you can correct me in the comments. Her mother has type 1, and there's nothing. I mean, she'll be on insulin forever. But Vintage Moss isn't, so hopefully, like, I've been reading tons of people's, you know, saying their arthritis is gone, they are off their medication for their high blood pressure, their insulin has dropped significantly, that they've been able to lessen some of them lessen their insulin, the amount that they have to take daily, to not having to take it at all. Like, that's amazing, right? So anyway, you know, there's a lot of naysayers out there because they're saying it's not a balanced diet. Well, yeah, it is. You're still eating carbs. You're getting your carbs in your vegetables. And there's carbs in every food, really, that you eat. I think I'm going to change inks for this one. Yeah, in everything you eat, there are carbs. But you want the good carbs, not the bad carbs. And, yeah, so anyway, this is working for me. I want to make sure that it's sustainable for myself, because this is the last time I want to have to lose this amount of weight. I don't ever want to go through this again, where I'm this fat. Basically, I'm fat, and I don't want sympathy from anybody. You know, this is all me, but I wished I had found a solution to, you know, more the reason why I became like I became. Because I was an athlete, you know, and like I say, I did not have issues with weight at all. Of course, you know, I was a teenager in the 70s. And in the 70s, man, I tell you, if you weren't stick thin, people said you were fat. Well, when you're an athlete, you're not necessarily stick thin. I was muscular, and I'm short. I'm only about 5'1.5". So I'd had muscly legs, and yeah. So of course I got teased all the time. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and yeah, I learned to live with those kinds of things, and just became a stronger person, I think. So I'm happy with my decision, and I really have to say how much I enjoy eating keto. The foods that I've been making, and one of the guys on YouTube, if you're interested, his YouTube name is Head Banger, all one word, Head Banger. And the reason he's called that is because he also plays in a heavy metal band, which is one of the things I find a little annoying about his channel, because in the background, I've learned to filter it, but in the background you can hear the music on. I'm like, oh, I hate heavy metal music. I'm old, you guys, so yeah. I don't like that kind of music. But his recipes, he's from Mumbai, India, so if you like Indian food, oh my goodness. Everything I've made so far from him, I've loved. So my husband's happy. As long as the food tastes good, he doesn't care what I feed him. And anyway, I'm enjoying it a lot. And maybe at the end of my journey, I may even do a shot of myself and show you guys. Yeah, the results, because that's one of the big reasons I'm not on camera, only my hands, is I don't like who I am, right? So, but it's up to me to change that, and that's what I'm doing. Anyway, like I say, please don't, tell me that what I'm doing is not right for you, because that's not what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you at all that you should be doing this. I'm just sharing with you what I've been doing. So, that's it. I think that's all I have to say today, and except to say that I've missed you guys, and like I say, I will try and get something out. I'll try and get that, if you can leave me some comments on some ideas, I'll try and get that kit in the store for you. Yeah, so thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll talk later. Bye.